Hey, this is Gavin with WSI, and today we're going to be talking about our Superlife polymer line of packings and our Superdome line of packing for your stuffing box. So one thing that's different about our Superlife is that separates it off from our other packing options is that it's a polymer, which means it's a solid. So there's no porosity in this at all versus a rubber, which does have a little bit of porosity in it, so you can get your chemicals and your abrasion and your sand and your salt can penetrate your rubber packing a little easier than it can this polymer stuff. We've had a lot of good success with this. We've increased folks' run time when they put this in a stuffing box by 5, 6, 7, 8 times a lot of times. Has a little bit of self-lubrosity to it. Obviously, all this packing still needs to be greased. We still recommend running lubricators with everything. But the polymer stuff does have a little bit of lubrosity to it. Functions really well in sour service, in areas where you've got some abrasion and high water cut wells. It handles those environments really, really well. It can be susceptible to over tightening. So if you've been running a hard packing or a super gold packing, something like that, and you install this for the first time, you don't need to pull your stuffing box bolt down and your BS top cap. You don't need to get that stuff quite as tight as you normally would with your other packing. Just like anything else, you want to slowly tighten your stuffing box up when you turn that unit back on and wait for that thin amount of film on your polish rod. You can't over tighten this stuff and then you won't see the performance out of it that's engineered into it. So good stuff. One thing about this is it's only good to about 200 degrees, so it doesn't handle those higher temperatures nearly as effectively as some of the other packings in our product line do. But next to that, it functions really well in almost any environment you can put it in. And we have this in a 475, which is a little stiffer configuration. Okay, and then we have our Superlife 575. This was actually the first polymer we brought to the market, and I want to say we did this in about 2014, and has just had a lot of success with this. And this, you can feel this if you have a chance to get out to a supply store or a pump shop and feel the lubrosity in it. This stuff just functions really well. And then we have our Superlife 675, which actually has a Teflon powder that when this is cold poured mixed in with it, and it functions really well in those water cut applications, just like the other two packings do as well. So now we can go on down to our Superdome, and one thing I want to touch on that is we also have a Super Seal, which is a cone version of our Superdome. You got your Teflon brass ring, and it's in a cone version as opposed to the dome style. So this will be rated exactly like the Nitrile Dome Superdome, the Nitrile Superdome packing, 250 degrees on this. This functions, handles, this stuff's really good in a lot of your abrasion and water cut situations. Just doesn't have quite as high as a temperature rating. But this is a good option if you're interested in trying to run Superdome, but maybe your engineer or your consultant or your field guy doesn't want to jump up to the Superdome yet. You can try that style of a carrier, this Teflon brass ring carrier. It's a little more economical option for you. Oops, sorry about that. So we get in our Superdome. This is really our highest performing packing. We've shot several videos where we're talking about abrasion resistance and water cut and sour service. This stuff will handle all those environments extremely well. We also use the Superdome in all of our 3 and 5K stuffing boxes. So we have tested pretty much every stuffing, every kind of packing that's out there when we were creating those stuffing boxes, and this was the one stuff that we found that we could get it to seal and operate at those pressures every time. When you run it, you've got to run a brass upper and follower. You can run it in BS stuffing boxes, you can run it in classic stuffing boxes, you can run it in anything you have out there. You may need a conversion kit depending on how you're running your stuffing box, but you can put it in anything. We've got our Nitrile, which is good to 250 degrees. This is our KB. This is actually good up to 500. And then we've got our HSN, which is good to 325 degrees. So great options. If you've got some difficult wellbore conditions, these packings perform really well. And we've just had a lot of success getting those out in the field for folks and increasing their run time, increasing their productivity, and decreasing their downtime on the well that they're having to use for swapping out packing. So like and subscribe our YouTube channel if you would please. We got a lot of videos we're releasing that you guys can on our complete product line. There'll also be a link at the end of this video for you to reach out to us if you'd like to possibly schedule a training. We do a lot of these. We'll do these in person for you. And if you also would just like to request more product information, you can get out to us and we'll get back with you on that as well. Remember to work smart, stay safe, make your connection with WSI.